What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Alright, today's video is going to be kind of a goofy one. I've done videos like this before where the enemy ends up winning, but this one I thought of and realized this could actually be a pretty funny video to do, and I guess you'll be seeing as the video goes on. The premise is pretty simple, and it doesn't require much to change. Buu ends up winning. But if Buu actually won, what would happen? Likely he'd probably just go around destroying everything, but I think I have a more interesting concept of what would happen. We want to have fun with this after all. For this video, let's set a like goal of 3,500 likes. If we hit the like goal, I'll continue with another part to the series and cover the Tournament of Power. Anyways, let's begin the scenario. So the change here is really simple. Buu already had the advantage until Goku and Vegeta fused, and he was about to attack them before they did fuse. Let's say here, Buu's a little quicker, or Goku and Vegeta are a little slower, whatever works best. Buu is too quick for them to get the earrings on in time. He launches an attack right towards them, separating the two. And since they were spending their time fumbling with the earrings, the Potara earrings fall out of both of their hands. Goku and Vegeta are both knocked back. Injured from this attack as well, Buu turns over to Goku first, the strongest of the two. He wastes no time. Immediately he rips a piece of himself off, flinging it at Goku, then absorbing him. Vegeta weakly gets up. He's Earth's last hope. In a brief fit of rage, he powers up into Super Saiyan. He tries attacking Buu while he's absorbing Goku, but nothing works. Even without Goku in him, Vegeta is still no match for him. Once he finishes absorbing Goku, Buu turns over to Vegeta, who's still launching attacks at him. In the blink of an eye, his hand is then on Vegeta's neck, holding him up in the air. Vegeta begins charging energy around him. He's going to use the final explosion again, but Buu's not going to let that hit him twice. While he holds Vegeta upwards, his arm extends out, creating more and more matter that absorbs Vegeta. Vegeta is assimilated into Buu, and now he has the powers of both of them. Gohan alone gave him a ton of energy, and now with Goku and Vegeta, his strength is unfathomable. But again, we want to have fun with this, so I'm going to introduce a little something different here. As we've seen, whenever Buu absorbs people, they do have a bit of an influence on him. Not just in terms of power, but bits of them seem to shine through. And Goku's having an influence here, but in a much different way. Goku's pure of heart, as are both of his sons who are also inside of Buu. With three pure-hearted people inside of him, something weird happens with Buu. They have an effect on him. Now, I'm not saying it turns him good, no way. But instead of him being pure evil, now he's transitioned over to more of an anti-hero if anything. Sure, he's still a bad guy with selfish motives, but he's not going to be reckless. You'll see how this affects him as the story goes on. Mr. Satan goes up to Buu, trying to plead with him to see if he'll do anything. He wants him to spare Earth at least. Shin and Kibito even consider teleporting in, but it will be too dangerous. They're just going to let Mr. Satan do his thing. Of course, Buu does have a soft spot for Mr. Satan. He tells Mr. Satan that he won't die. And actually, Buu has no incentive to absorb or kill the other people there. Besides Mr. Satan, Dende and a passed out Ten Shinhan are also in the area. Ten wakes up too eventually. Dende heals him and he's filled in on what happened. Well, the good thing is Dende's still alive. That means the Dragon Balls are still active. They can get them, revive everyone, possibly even free the people from inside of Buu. But it's not going to work that well. Buu says that he will revive everyone on Earth, mainly because they're going to produce sweets and other food for him to eat. But in terms of everyone inside him, there's no way he'll let them be freed. And while he is sparing everyone, if they try and pull any stunts and get the Dragon Balls, they won't get away with it. He'll make sure to kill them before they achieve their goal. Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, Goten, and Trunks are stuck in Buu forever. But Buu has one last proposition. In exchange for being so kind to revive everybody, he wants a training partner. This is more the Goku shining through, but also because Buu does want someone to fight, and the strongest person there right now is Ten Shinhan. He'll become Buu's training buddy, since he has no one else to face. Besides, he can't heal Ten Shinhan after all, and if they're training and he gets injured, well, that won't be an issue. Ten sees this as an opportunity. He could get stronger by doing this, and maybe eventually he can kill Buu. So he decides to go along with it. Some time passes. Buu ends up reviving everyone. This does bring the other humans back too, the ones that were killed by him. So Krillin, Yamcha, and everyone else in that group is back. And of course Chaozu never died, so he's still there too. All the damage is restored, and Dende just watches on. I mean, at least everyone is saved, but still, is there really no way for them to get people out of Majin Buu? Ten tries to formulate a plan with Krillin and Yamcha, who also become training partners with Buu. But they come to learn that Buu is way too strong for them. And if they even try and gather the Dragon Balls, there's no way they're gonna make it. Not only is Buu fast enough to stop them and probably even kill Shenron, but remember, Goku's part of him. Besides the fact that Kid Buu is able to teleport, well, this Buu would be able to as well, especially because he has Goku in him. The second they gathered the Dragon Balls and try and summon Shenron, he'd have multiple ways to teleport to them and stop them. It seems they've lost all hope, as well as everyone else. Of course, Chi-Chi, Bulma, and Videl would feel the effects of this too, feeling it more so than the rest of the group. Things continue like this for a while. Buu's not going to rule over Earth or anything. That's not really his forte. He more so just wants to get strong and fight people. He even travels around the universe a few times. Again, he's basically just a neutral party here that wants to be strong and have fun. And eventually, he gets the perfect rival. Beerus ends up waking up. He's dreamt about a Super Saiyan god of sorts, but he doesn't know what that is or where he could find one. According to Whis, none of the Saiyans are alive, at least as far as he could tell, but there do exist some Saiyans on Earth, within a creature called Majin Buu. He tells Beerus all about Majin Buu, at least anything that he doesn't know, and Beerus is surprised to hear about all of this. Well, it might not be an actual Saiyan, but he does have Saiyans within him, and as far as he could tell, Majin Buu sounds pretty strong. Maybe he'll be Beerus' potential rival. So, Beerus ends up heading to Earth one day, meeting with Majin Buu. He's surprised. He thought Majin Buu was a villain, but he's not destroying Earth or going around ruling stuff or anything. It seems like he's pretty much been keeping to himself. Buu is absolutely elated to meet him. Since Vegeta is absorbed in Buu, he does have access to some knowledge of Beerus, but not too much. He knows that there was some god of destruction somewhere named Beerus, and just the name alone excited him. And Beerus has a proposition. He wants to fight Buu. He wants to see where he is in terms of strength, and maybe see if he could be a rival, possibly even achieving Super Saiyan God if that somehow could work. Of course, Buu's not going to turn this down, and the great thing is, he's not limited by being on Earth. He can go out in space and fight, meaning he and Beerus can fight with as much power as they want. Well, not too much. They don't want to destroy the universe after all. Since Buu has been training for a couple years, and with the extra people inside of him, he's grown exponentially stronger. I'd say at this point, he's probably close to where Super Saiyan God Goku was in terms of strength. This guy could train day and night without rest, and he has some great training partners, even if they aren't incredibly strong. Plus, with all the people's abilities inside of him, of course he's going to grow really fast. And this is before he even gets God Ki. And it's amazing too, no matter how much Beerus fights him, this guy doesn't get worn out, and he can always regenerate from any of his injuries, not to mention he has access to all that great magic in him. But at one point in the battle, he does try something sneaky. He tries to absorb Beerus within him, but Beerus is quick enough and smart enough to notice this. He sees the piece of Buu creeping up behind him, and without even turning around, he sticks a hand out behind him, Hakaiing it. It creates a massive explosion of purple light, and Beerus tells Buu that's a dirty trick. Now, he's up to being rivals with this guy, but he doesn't want him to be like this. If he can't trust Buu, he might as well destroy him. He threatens Buu by putting out a hand in front of him, and for the first time, Buu is actually put in his place. He can't do anything here, and surprisingly, he apologizes to Beerus. Beerus still isn't sure about this guy, but he will give him another chance. That threat was more than enough to stop Buu. And thus, Buu leaves Earth, going to Beerus' planet to train. Of course, the Earthlings do want to try and gather Dragon Balls during this time, but they know Buu would definitely be able to tell what they're doing. They still have hope that they could probably free Goku and everyone, but then they realize it's not going to happen. Buu knew they might try and do this when he left, so he split himself into two, creating a weaker, but still very strong clone of himself on Earth, basically there to keep everyone in check. Meanwhile, the real Buu is out there with Beerus. He's having a lot of fun training on Beerus' planet with Whis. With all the techniques and knowledge of Goku, Vegeta, and everyone else, he's still a really good fighter both in terms of technique and strength. But he's definitely nowhere near Beerus yet. Of course, over the time of his training, he does absorb some God Ki just by being around the two. And since he was never actually taught before how to fight and only learned through other people, he does learn a lot of stuff from Whis, his first teacher ever. But one day during training, he senses something odd. From the version of him that's on Earth tracking everything, that version of Buu sent someone that was trying to get the Dragon Balls. It was someone that was part of the Frieza Force, and the Buu on Earth ended up capturing him. He learned that this guy, Sorbet, wanted to try and revive Frieza. And you know what? Buu decides to let him go. Revive Frieza. Maybe that'll be a worthy opponent for him. Beerus asks Buu if he's sure about this, and Buu says he's definitely sure. This will be a great test of his power. No one's really strong enough to face him right now. Beerus is way too high above him, and everyone else is far too below him. Maybe Frieza will be a nice challenge. After some time, Frieza eventually ends up going to Earth, still unaware that the Saiyans weren't there. But Sorbet did inform him about Majin Buu, which makes Frieza a bit worried. Apparently, Majin Buu was seen in orange clothing, the same clothing that Goku had. What is this? Did Buu join sides with that monkey or something? That makes no sense. But Frieza's pretty fine with his training right now. He feels that with his new golden form, he'll be more than enough. So he heads to Earth. And Buu teleports back there. When he arrives, he sees the other humans there trying to fight the Frieza Force. And with how strong the three of them have gotten, as well as Roshi there too, they're actually able to fend off the Frieza Force pretty well. And then Buu comes in and instantly one-shots everyone. Frieza steps out, asking where the Saiyans are. Buu says the only Saiyans here are the ones inside of him. Besides that, there's no other Saiyans on Earth. Buu absorbed the Saiyans? That explains the stupid outfit. Well, in that case, it seems Frieza's gonna have to kill everyone here, including Buu. Of course, he knows that Buu is dangerous, but with how cocky he is with his golden form, he doesn't even care. Immediately, he transforms into this golden form. And Boo's ready for a fun fight. Of course, all the humans are terrified, but Buu tells him to not worry. He will defend Earth, not because he wants to protect them, but because he wants to protect all the food on there. He can't just give that up. He launches over to Frieza, and immediately, it's clear that he's way too far above him. Frieza can't believe this is happening, while Buu is just bored. Well, he expected more from this guy. It wouldn't even be worth absorbing him. He's not nearly strong enough to even make a difference, and he doesn't really want that influence in him. So he just one-shots Frieza, pretty much to the amazement of everyone else. That was definitely something. They can't believe their eyes. But hey, they're not going to question it. Next up, we're going to have the Universe 6 tournament happening eventually. Champa's pretty freaked out to see that Beerus took this guy as a student. He doesn't know much about Majin Buu, but from what he could tell, this guy seems pretty weird. But Beerus is more than confident in him. Especially with the upcoming tournament, this would be a great way for Buu to prove himself. But they are going to need a team of 5. That's not going to be too hard. Buu goes to Earth, telling everyone he needs them for a tournament. Tenshinhan, Yamcha, Krillin, and Chaozu. Wait a second, a tournament between Universe 7 and 6? Held by 2 gods of destruction? What? He tells them not to question it. Just join, it'll be fun and a way for them to test their skills. So, they go along with it. And hey, you know what? This is pretty great. Buu's not actually the first one up. He's not just going to one-shot everything. First up is actually Tenshinhan. And he's a pretty strategic and smart fighter, so he actually does well against Vegeta, especially with how much he's been training. It's a great way for him to show off his strength. Against Frost too, he realized that Frost might be a tricky guy, since he does look exactly like Frieza. And with his great eyesight, thanks to his 3 eyes, he's able to actually see the needle sticking out from his arms. But instead of getting him disqualified, he just points them out and makes sure that the needles are disposed of. Why wouldn't he take the easy win? Well, he's confident that he could win against Frost with his own pure strength. And he does exactly that. Instead of taking the easy win from that forfeit, he actually just embarrasses him completely, and still wins in the process. Next up, he's against Vegeta. And as we know, he's not really that good with coming up with insults, and also, Vegeta's able to smoke him out of the ring. Although he's had a pretty good performance so far. Next up is Yamcha, and he's ready to show off the fruits of his training. Well, not against Vegeta, of course. There's no way he could hurt him. Although, he could hurt him emotionally. I feel like Yamcha would be able to come up with some insults at least. And with that, he wins against Vegeta. Next, he faces Kappa, interested to see a Saiyan from another universe, as well as the others being interested too. And Kappa's actually more than powerful enough to defeat Yamcha. Then he begins facing Krillin. Krillin and Tenshinhan are the strongest humans in the scenario, way stronger than they even were originally. And with how great Krillin is as a strategist and how strong he is here, he's actually able to outmaneuver Kappa in some ways. He was a bit terrified at first thinking Kappa could transform into a Super Saiyan, but it turns out he can't. He's only in base form, and he doesn't seem to be transforming anytime soon. Krillin doesn't note this either. He doesn't want Kappa to know about Super Saiyan. That might put them at a disadvantage if he finds out a way to access it. But with a combination of his great techniques and strong moves, he's actually able to win against Kappa. But then, he's up against Hit. And of course, he's going to have no shot against him. Even before Hit uses Pure Progress or Time Skip, he's just too strong for Krillin to face. Chaozu's up next. Crap, what's he supposed to do? He's not just going to cower in fear and hide, but he knows he's not going to win this. He at least tries though. He tries to paralyze Hit, and this catches Hit off guard and briefly actually works. But simply by powering up, he's able to free himself and then defeat Chaozu. And now's the big event, Buu versus Hit, both the last person on their team. And here, Hit actually has to show off Time Skip. But even with it, Buu's able to keep up somehow. And the greatest part is, he actually has a trick up his sleeve too. With all his time spent with Beerus and Whis, he's finally been able to harness God Ki. And while he's not really a Super Saiyan god, he is able to tap into this power and actually use it for himself. While there's no real physical change with him, Hit watches as Buu's eyes begin glowing, and he's surrounded by a fiery red aura. His power soars dramatically, and Buu vanishes from Hit's sight. He doesn't know what's happening. Did he just turn invisible? He even tries using Time Skip to see if he could find Buu anywhere. Maybe slowing down time he could look around and see where he went. But everyone in the stands is completely amazed. They can still sense him there. And as for Beerus, Champa, Whis, and Vados, they don't just sense Buu, they're actually able to see him. He's not invisible, he's just moving incredibly fast right now, so fast that not even Hit could see him. Hit then begins taking attacks. He gets punched in the side, then gets kicked. He tries sensing where Buu's coming from, but he can't figure it out. Buu's ki is all around him. He's moving so quickly that it leaves flames behind him from his aura. The entire arena begins glowing. Hit begins taking more and more attacks. He tries using Time Skip at the very last second to counter them, but nothing works. With Pure Progress, he actually is growing, and he can skip ahead farther. He still managed to stay in the ring somehow. Maybe Buu just doesn't want to knock him out yet. But Buu's having fun too. This is the first time he could actually use his full power against someone, or at least part of his full power. Hit's a worthy opponent, and he wants to savor this battle. But even so, it seems Hit won't be able to defeat him at all, or make this fight fun. And then briefly, Hit's able to time skip far enough to actually see where Buu is. He's only a blur, but he does catch a glimpse of Buu. And he's moving so fast that before Hit can even process it, he takes one last attack and is launched out of the ring. Buu is declared the victor, with Universe 7 winning. Now Champa sees why he took on this guy as a student. So, where do we go from here? This plotline is still obviously unresolved, And without Goku here to jumpstart the events of the Zamasu stuff, I feel like Zamasu's not actually going to go through with his plan. Realistically, the next thing would be the Tournament of Power. So, we'll leave off here for now. What do you think will happen next time if we get a new part? What will happen with all the humans? Will they be able to revive everyone and stop Buu? Or will Buu continue on this path? And what will he do in the Tournament of Power? Leave any thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. If we hit the like goal, I'll create another part of this series. If you haven't already, why not subscribe, as well as hit the bell icon so you're notified about any future parts of this series or any uploads on my channel. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.